yet another episode, and today we'll be talking about space available flight, okay, also known as Space A. Someone might ask, what is Space A? And before I go in depth into it, I'll give a brief overview of what this program entails, okay? So, the program basically is the Air Force has missions all over the world, right? So, it flies to different countries every single day. Now, let's say you wanted to go to Alaska, right? But going to Alaska, maybe the plane tickets are so expensive, and you're like, no, I can't go for whatever reason. You just want to save money. So what you can do is you can apply for a space available spot on that plane going to Alaska, and they'll fill the plane up first. Now, if they're done filling up the plane and there is seats left, let's say sometimes there are 20, 30 seats left, then whoever applied for the Space A can get a seat on that plane and fly with a military plane to Alaska. Let's say the plane was going to a military base, say, let's say Elmendorf in this situation, right? Let's say the plane was flying from Hawaii, which is Pearl Harbor. It was flying from Pearl Harbor to Elmendorf. You board on that flight, and then to drop you off on the base, and then from the base you can go wherever that you were going, or you just wanted to visit Elmendorf. Now the program is free. You don't have to pay for tickets. It's not at a discounted rate. But however, sometimes you may have to pay a flight fee, which is usually about $20. And for me, I'll much rather pay $20, have a plane ticket straight to Alaska, than go pay $600 or $700 based on where you're flying from. All right, so I have this cheat sheet here. So if you see me looking down, I'm actually looking at this questions that I've compiled. And as I answer the question again, I like that format of video. As I answer the questions, hopefully I'll answer whatever questions that you have. But if for any reason I didn't answer your specific question, I'll leave links in the description box to all the websites that I use for the research for this video. It might have more insight there, but if that doesn't help and you still have a personal question, you can leave it in the comment section below, and you're sure that I will be there to check them out. Okay, so what is Space A? First of all, I want to make this clear. It's a privilege. Space A, the program is a privilege. It's not an entitlement. So you don't show up there thinking that because you serve in the military, they are supposed to make space for you on the plane. It's a free service, right? It is not you've earned the right to be on that plane. It is not. So let me make that very clear, because some people, well, I serve in the military, so I'm supposed to be on that plane. I can board that plane. And no, it doesn't work like that. It's a privilege that the Air Force extends to you. So it is mostly offered by the Air Force Air Mobility Command, or also known as AMC terminals, right? They are the squadron that offers this program. Now we have Hawaii and Alaska. And Hawaii and Alaska in the military is considered overseas. I'll explain it later. But they fly to other places like Germany. So if you're taking a vacation to Germany and you don't want to have to pay tickets, you can take your Space A and it will take you to Germany, England, Spain, Italy, Japan, and South Korea. So these are the countries that the Air Force flies to often. There are categories of people that fly this plane. So, okay, you know how when you go take a commercial plane, there is the first class, there is priority, there is group A, group B, group C, all the way to some group 1, group 2, group 3. It's the same thing with this thing that I'm about to talk about. Okay, so there are certain people who will be considered priority on that flight than other people. But if there is space for everyone, then guess what? Everyone will get on the plane. That's what I'm trying to get to. So the first category is emergency leave travel. Let's say you are stationed here in Hawaii, okay, but you have your spouse or your kids, or for whatever reason, a family member is sick and maybe they are out in Texas, right? And they go to the hospital, and whatever it is, their condition becomes critical. What they can do is they can have the Red Cross just with your name. All you have to do is give the service member's name. So the Red Cross will call their command. So the Red Cross will call Hawaii, let them know that, okay, Sergeant Smith, let's just use Sergeant Smith. Sergeant Smith's mother is sick and she's been admitted to this hospital, and her mom is requesting if her son can come stay with her in the hospital. Maybe she has no one, right? Now, in a situation like that, because the Red Cross is making that call to your squadron, they will quickly put you on emergency leave orders. Now, with those orders, what Eamon Smith can do is he can either fly commercial and pay out of pocket, or use, sometimes the unit, at the unit level, the unit has a fund, an emergency fund, that they can give some money out to Eamon Smith to book his ticket to go see the mom. Or Eamon Smith can call the AMC terminal, the Air Mobility Command, and see if there is space available flight. Now, if there's space available flight, then Eamon Smith in this situation falls under category 1, right? So he's like the first priority. They always take emergency leave orders first priority. I just wanted to make that very clear. Now, in category 2, right, this is one that I'm not so familiar with, and to be honest, it doesn't happen very often. It's called the accompanied environmental and moral leave, right? And I'll read it verbatim because, like I said, I'm not very familiar with it. It says DOD dependent school teachers and their accompanied family members in EML status during school year, holiday, and vacation period. So I believe that if you were a teacher on base, right? Let's say you teach preschool on base and you're employed by the DOD, and you were returning back for summer vacation, or school was resuming and you were coming back, instead of taking a commercial flight, you can go with Space A. That is what I think this means. Like I said, it's not something that is very common. Now, let's look at category 3, right? Ordinary leave and house hunting TDY. So ordinary leave is the most common one. Let's say you take your leave, like I said in my previous videos, U.S. military members get 30 days of vacation a year, 30 days paid vacation. So even though you're on vacation for that 30 days, you still get paid as if you're working full time, right? So let's say you put in your leave, you got your leave processed, everything is working, and then now you're about to actually go on your leave. Well, you can either buy a commercial plane ticket, or you can do the Space A program, right? But mind you, you'll be in category 3. So if there's any category 1 emergency leave people, they'll fill the plane first, followed by this DOD personnel, then you, right? So there's that to keep in mind. But usually 90% of the people on Space A flight are on some type of ordinary leave. They are just going from one place to the other. And then there's house hunting TDY. So house hunting TDY is, let's say you are stationed in Japan, right? But you know your next base is in England, right? What you can do is that the Air Force gives you 10 days of house hunting. That is 10 free days to go look for a place you are willing to stay when you move to England. So you can take leave from Japan, take your 10 days house hunting, fly to England, and then go explore and try to find a place. Let's say you know you're moving to England within a week or whatever. You can get there, fly Space A, go look for a house, get your goods and stuff in there, right? So that is house hunting TDY. Category 4, which is unaccompanied dependent on EML. So EML goes back to the environmental and moral leave. So like I said, in category 2, where we had the DOD teachers and stuff, now those were for the teachers themselves, right? So if you're a DOD teacher, you fall in category 2, right? And then category 4 is unaccompanied dependent. So unaccompanied dependent will be, for example, let's say I was a tutor on base, right? I teach preschool. If I was moving from one place to the other using Space A, I'll fall in category 2. If I'm going with my family members, we'll fall in category 2. But if I'm just sending my kid, let's say I have an 18-year-old kid and a 20-year-old kid, and I'm just sending them to the next base or just wherever, because I'm not going with them physically, they fall in category 4. Does it make sense? If I'm there with them present, they fall in category 2. But if I'm not there, they fall in category 4. That is what unaccompanied dependence on EML status means. And then for category 4 too, it talks about dependent of military members deployed more than 120 days. So if you have a spouse who has been deployed overseas for whatever mission for 120 days or more, you as a dependent that has been left stateside, you are entitled to use that flight. So you can use that flight to go from one place to the other. Let's look at category 5, permissive TDY, student, dependent, post deployment, mobilization. Now, the last category is for retirees, dependent, reservists, and disabled veterans. Okay, so retirees. Now, there's a big difference between a veteran and a retiree. A retiree is someone who has put in at least 20 years of service, right? That is the most easiest way you can explain it. Now, if the person is medically retired, they might not have done 20 years, but due to a medical condition, they are put on a retirement status. That is a different type of retirement. Even though it falls under retirement, it's just a different type. Now, veterans are anyone who has served in the military for more than 120 days. Okay, so if you join the military for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you did 8, 10, you even did 18 years, right? But you didn't get a retirement status. You're a veteran. So I see a lot of people just mixing it up. A retiree, veteran. There is a clear distinction because they both come with certain advantages. Retirees get a lot more than veterans do. So just keep that in mind. I just wanted to make that clear. Now, dependents can also, like I said, if you're not even your spouse is deployed, let's just say you and your spouse are on a station at San Antonio, right? And your spouse wants to go visit her friends in, let's say, Nebraska, right? Your spouse wants to go visit the friends in Nebraska. She can take a space available flight. All you have to do is sign off. You, the sponsor, you, the uniform member, have to sign off and get some form from your command, sign it off, and she takes that form to the AMC terminal, which is the Air Mobility Command, and then they look at the form, they check her ID, and she can fly for free. So there is that too. And then there is disabled veterans. Now, I talked about Alaska and Hawaii, right? Alaska and Hawaii are considered Oconors, right? Some say Oconors, some say Oconors, the spelling is right here. This is what I mean, right? Now, there are two types. We have CONOS and Oconors. CONOS is an acronym for the continental United States, right? Continental United States are the 48 states, including DC, right? So if you fall within these 48 states, you are considered, some people call it stateside. You are considered stateside. But Hawaii and Alaska is considered Oconors, which is outside the continental United States. So not just Hawaii and Alaska, but all U.S. territories, so Guam, Virgin Islands, and other places that are not directly, I mean, they are part of the U.S., but they are just territories, are considered Oconors. And anything outside the U.S., so Japan, Korea, is all considered overseas Oconors, right? So I just wanted to make that distinction very clear. What do you need to board a Space A flight? Okay, so based on your situation, one of these 6 things applies. So you need your ID, and mind you, Space A is on base. So you can't, if you don't have an ID to get on base, you can't fly Space A, because not only will the ID help get on base, but that same ID will be checked at the AMC to allow you to get on the flight. Dependent ID, so if your spouse, your children are coming, make sure they all have their IDs. Orders, So, like I said, if you are on leave, you need your leave orders. They need to verify that you're actually on leave before they will put you on that plane to fly with them. There is command and non-command sponsorship letter. There is that we just talked about that. Passport. So certain places, if you're going overseas to certain countries, you need your passport. Visa. Certain countries need visa. Even though you're flying on a military aircraft, they still need visa to enter the country. So you need that in situations like that. And then immunization records. So certain European countries, I believe, they wouldn't allow you to enter if you don't have your immunization record. That has been it for Space A, Space Available Flight. It's a free program that is offered by the Air Force through the Air Mobility Command for service members, retirees, their dependents, to be able to enjoy free flights based on where the plane is going. So mind you, you don't set a destination. You don't say that I'm going here so the plane should go here. It is more like the plane is going here. Are you going there too? Then you can hop on the plane and go there. Well, that has been it. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share, like this video, leave a comment if you appreciate it, if you have any questions, and also don't forget to subscribe.